Chapter House proudly presents Every Life Has a Story to Tell.
I was born in England, a bit of a dark secret, and Dad and Mum brought out myself and my older and younger sister. Lived in Eltham, built a mud brick house, and pretty much Dad's dream was to live in Australia, and Mum was destined because her name was Sheila. So I grew up in Eltham in a very sort of healthy lifestyle, and that was sort of the foundations for my life. So I went to Wesley. It was, I think my parents being English, like the private school system, very much like England, so we all ended up at a private school, Wesley College, and very sort of privileged, I think, education, and my big thing was sport. The school actually banned me from team sports because I wasn't a great team player. I was too obsessed with winning and too aggressive, and they actually sat me down very early on and said, I think you're a runner, Emma. I think you should stick to running. So cross-country and athletics. And I spent my whole school life remaining unbeaten and got a love for sport. My dad was very high up in Nike and Adidas when I was growing up. So I was very fortunate to be exposed to elite athletes. And I think pretty much the day I realised that you could make money out of sport, that's what I was going to do. I was going to make money out of sport and I was going to be an athlete. So that was the sort of trajectory of my life. So I ran my whole junior career, and it wasn't until I was the age of 19 that I discovered the sport of triathlon. My dad said to me, I think you'd be a world-class triathlete. Couldn't swim, could ride a bike, and I could obviously run. By this stage I was running for Australia. So I decided to focus on triathlon. We saw internationally there was a World Championship in New Zealand 18 months time when I took up triathlon, and we decided that if I was going to take up triathlon, I wanted to go and win a world title and take on the world as the world champion. So I raced domestically, made the Australian team, and got myself over to that World Championship and managed to win it at my first attempt. And that was how my career started, from the top, and it was a very, very strange way to start a sporting career. As the world champion, I still wasn't national champion, I still wasn't really that well known, but it was an unusual way of doing it, but it was a great way of doing it.
And the 1997 ITU World Champion is Emma Carney. An emphatic victory of sheer brilliance, the timing, absolute perfection.
This is a great moment for Emma Carney. She's really lived with the defeat in the last 2 years. And to really...
For my first world title, I went on and I was extremely dominant in the sport of triathlon. I didn't line up to race, I lined up to win. And that was the whole sort of mentality I took into every race. And probably for about 4 years I was absolutely untouchable. I'd maybe lose one race, I won more world titles, I made world #1, and suddenly I stopped winning. And that took a sort of number of years. I didn't really talk about it, I just sort of struggled on with my own little struggle. And finally that all came to sort of light why that was happening, and I had a cardiac arrest. So I'd been developing a heart condition. I almost died, normally kills people, but for some reason I managed to sort of get myself through it, got myself to a hospital, and I've now got a life-saving defibrillator implanted. So of course that meant my career ended, and while all this was going on, or shortly after, my older sister Jane was diagnosed with cancer, and she lost her battle very quickly. She died within 5 months of diagnosis to leaving us. So that put everything into perspective, and I remember I spent a lot of time looking after Jane, and I remember Jane said to me, I'm so lucky you retired because you now have the time to look after me. And it's sort of made me realise that while I'd lost that career, I had that quality time with my sister, looking after her, and we lost that battle, but I managed to spend a lot of time with someone who was so important at the start of my life, because she always looked after me. So, you know, while you never ever want that and you trade anything to keep them, it was a really, really close time I had with Jane. The funny thing about Jane, she always used to say, I've got the easy job, I've just got to die and you're going to have to live with it. And I think that was very, very wise words from Jane. I don't think you ever get over it. I think you learn to live with it better. And time does that. And I think also spending time with your family, with the people that know Jane, or in my case, people that know Jane, and just making sure that person never leaves. You know, you keep their principles alive, you keep their, you know, their family alive, and I think that's the most important thing. The world should stop. It doesn't, but you can still keep them going, I think. Life now, I have always been obsessed with sport, so I'll always keep myself fit. I was told I'd never exercise again, and obviously that wasn't going to sit very well with my life. But life to me is about making the most of every single moment. So I'm a mum to Jack, and I try and give Jack everything he needs in life, and hopefully I do that. But yeah, I coach, and it's pretty much, sport is still my life. So I think if it's not sport, I don't have a real passion for it. And I think you've got to spend your life with your passion, and that's mine. So that's my life. My big thing at the moment, or my big focus, is on the younger generation and getting that physical literacy going, which is, you know, every child should be able to run, swim, bike, tumble, jump, hop, skip. And I do a lot of work with, you know, some programs with the younger generation, so they grow up with that sport, fitness and understanding that'll last a lifetime. Because you need to get them early so they have a routine, they have a love for it, they have a need for it, they have an understanding, and hopefully, you know, the generation will realise that fitness and well-being is just as important as you know, being able to work a computer, being able to earn big dollars out there, being a CEO or being a busy mum. You still got to look after your body. It doesn't matter how much technology in the world, you've still got the same body, you've still got to look after yourself. So I think fitness is the key to a long, healthy life. My name's Emma Carney, and every life has a story to tell.